Good day, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. I pray all is well with you. First, I want to thank you for tuning in and to watching these videos that I'm making pertaining to prostate cancer and the treatment that I received. And this video is the follow-up to my radiation treatments. My last video, when my radiation treatments concluded on the 26th of August, I said I'll do a video midway when I'm supposed to see my doctor next, which is 6 weeks after the radiation treatment. And of course, as you all can see, I'm alive, I'm well for the most part, but you know, that radiation treatment did come with some side effects that I'm going to share. And this is my experience. I'm gonna just kind of sum them up, you know, for the last 3 weeks, what I've been going through. And of course, I'll do another video once I see the doc in another 3 weeks to, you know, even update you on what's been going on. We started talking about radiation treatment. And of course, with any type of surgery, treatments, when it comes to your health, your body, you want to know all the side effects that come with it. And what I remember the doc telling me is that I'm gonna be getting up to pee a lot at night. I'm gonna have the urge to pee at night, mainly at night. It'll still happen during the day, but more so at night. And I remember telling the doc that, hey, not a big thing. I get up a lot at night to go to the restroom anyway. And I mean, 4 or 5 times a night. And this has been going on all my life since I can remember. And even when I was in school, in elementary school, I was always raising my hand to go to the restroom. So I always thought I either had a weak bladder or something was going on with me down there. But all is well. I don't know why I just always had the urge to go to the restroom. So getting up 4 or 5 times in the middle of the night, you know, breaking up my sleep patterns, just, that was normal for me. So for the doctor to tell me that was one of the side effects, I'm like, got that in the bag, nothing to worry about there. And then of course, during the day, same thing, depending on how much fluid I'm putting in my body, not a big deal. And then of course the radiation can have the side effect of making you tired, making you a little sore. And so those are some of the things that the doc told me that stuck in my brain. When the radiation treatment was over, of course, in my last video, you know, you see me putting my handprint on the wall, celebrating. I even went out to eat. All was well, and that was on a Friday. Saturday, I believe that's when it really hit me in terms of me being tired. Woke up, had breakfast Saturday morning, and then I was out for the rest of the day. It was like I got hit by a ton of bricks and I was gone. Sunday was good for the most part. I was up and at 'em, doing my thing, didn't really feel nothing. Monday, back to work. Again, the side effects hadn't crept up on me. Probably till around Tuesday, Wednesday is when I started having that urgency to go to the restroom. I mean, it just hits you out of nowhere, like, oh shoot, I gotta go to the bathroom. But then when you go to the restroom, nothing happens. So I'm sitting there waiting for something to happen in terms of, you know, urinating. And then eventually it'll come, go back to handle my business, go back to work or whatever I was doing. And then of course, that was definitely starting to happen at night, where I was up about once an hour. I mean, if I went to bed, and for me going to bed is like 11, sometimes midnight, I was getting up at 1, getting up at 2, getting up at 3, getting up at 4, like every hour up until it was time for me to just get up and start my day. As that first week was progressing and getting towards the end of the week, that was pretty much my first week. Just a lot of going to the restroom at night and during the day. But again, for me, nothing unusual because for me, my body, I've been doing that all my life. But then once we roll into the second week post radiation treatment, it increases. And not only does it increase in my pelvic area, it starts to feel like it's on fire. I mean, I was like, woo, as if it was on fire, and I had to have a fan, I would have a book, or you need one of them church fans to kind of fan it down there. It would be so hot, and it got so hot to the point where now it was starting to get a little bit uncomfortable, to where I text my doc or email them to say, hey, is this normal? Because my is on fire. I mean, everything down there in that pelvic area just literally felt like it was burning. And my wife even suggested that I put an ice pack down there. But I said, well, let me check with the doc first. And he agreed, I could use an ice pack. I even had a frozen bottle of water that I just set in between my legs while I laid in the bed, and just to cool it off. And that helped a little bit, but it was just constantly on fire. And I just thought, okay, since the doc didn't add anything to my emails other than, use a cold pack, or, I could use some, take some ibuprofen because something might be getting inflamed down there. That I did take an ibuprofen or two. Again, didn't quite help a whole lot, but it would come and go. 1 minute I'm fine, then the next minute it's like, oh my goodness, I'm on fire down there. And so with going to the restroom and that increasing, I went from going, seemed like, to the restroom once an hour the first week to now the second week, seemed like about every half hour. And when I would go to the restroom, it was an event. And when I say it's an event, it's just not going to the restroom, handling your business and then getting back in the bed within a matter of minutes. It started to become harder for me to have that release. And then when I would have the release, not only was it trying, not only was I, doing number one, then number two would try to happen at the same time. And for whatever, however the radiation was affecting me, it felt like it was making me strain just to go to the restroom, whether it was to, again, do number one or do number two. And so I would spend literally 10 to 15 minutes in the restroom. So mind you, I was getting up, like I said, about every half hour, and then spending about 10 to 15 minutes in the restroom before I felt comfortable to leave. That was, bottom line is I was getting absolutely no sleep at all, none. And that started about midway through the second week, and then going into the third week, it was just about the same. I was team no sleep. And mind you, at the same time, I was still working, because just like I'm talking to you now, it didn't affect my ability to talk and to communicate. And every now and then, because my pelvic area was getting a little hot, and then it felt like I was actually sitting on something, which I was saying is that spacer that they put in me. I would be a little uncomfortable in my chair, would just have to get up, walk around for a few minutes, sit back down, because, I talk to people on the phone all day, and I had to adjust myself. And I actually ordered a cushion, and I should show you that cushion that I ordered off Amazon, where the back part of it is opened up, so that pelvic area is not actually pressing on something. So that helped a lot as far as not feeling any pain or discomfort. But going into that third week, it was really, really uncomfortable no matter where I sat and no matter what I was sitting on. And it was extremely hot in that area. And so as I coming out of that week, the second week going into the third week, where I was starting to go to the bathroom more often. It was still hot, my pelvic, and even now I recall my hips, my legs, like where they had set the markers to, give me the radiation treatments, was all starting to feel a little sore. My back was starting to feel a little sore. And now, mind you, while you're going through this, there's no medication for it other than what I talked about with the my area feeling a little warmed or inflamed, and the doc recommended some ibuprofen. Going into the third week, which is basically this week, but I'm at about 3.5 weeks now, because today is where we at, Tuesday. It's Tuesday, the 20th of September, and of course the end of this week on Friday, it'll be the 4th week. Last week, as we were beginning to go into the third week, I started cramping up a lot, and it probably started around Friday, Saturday, where, again, not only is I got the heat going on down there, just started feeling a little crampy, started to take the ibuprofen a little bit more. I would compare my cramps, which I can't compare, but I was comparing them to in my mind of, ladies that have their menstrual cramps, because, oh man, it started off, kind of mild, something I could still kind of work through, till where it got severe. To kind of make a long story short, and it got severe to the point where I just literally couldn't walk, couldn't talk. I definitely had to stop working. I was very uncomfortable. Didn't want to eat anything, didn't want to drink anything, until it just got to the point where my wife was like, we going to the emergency room. And so we went to the emergency room, and come to find out that my bladder was completely full, and that was what was causing the cramping. And so, of course, they gave me a catheter, and I got that catheter to this day, got it on now for them to drain my bladder, and of course it was drained successfully. I was in the hospital for about a day and a half, because they wanted to make sure, of course, when your bladder is full or it starts to back up, that it don't affect your kidneys, because of the bacteria that could be, in the urine when it sits in your bladder for so long. Thank God my kidneys were good, but when that nurse stuck the catheter in me, it filled that bag up real quick. And I asked her, I said, how big is that bag? She's like, it's a liter. And no more than she put it in, filled it up, probably less than 30 seconds. She put another bag on, I filled that bag up. And then she put another bag on, and it halfway filled that up. So I had 2.5 liters of urine in my bladder, sitting on my bladder. That cramped me up so bad. Again, I could not walk, couldn't talk. I was moaning and groaning all day, like I was and I compared to the women like I was a woman in labor. And until we went to the hospital, and thank the Lord, that issue got resolved. Now, the question becomes, why did my bladder get full? Because one of the side effects from the radiation treatment, according to the doc, because I went back to the hospital the next day to see him, is that he said 2 to 4% chance that some men's prostate from the radiation will get inflamed. So in other words, it's going to swell up. It'll be just like if you had a enlarged prostate. And that's what happened to me, because when your prostate is enlarged, of course, it kind of squeezes the urethra, that comes from the bladder, that allow the urine to flow, out of your body. And when it got damaged because of my inflamed prostate, you know, even though I was going to the restroom, it wasn't coming out as much as it should have to empty my bladder, to keep it from being full. And even the day that we went to the hospital, I couldn't even hold my bladder anymore. It was just coming out, which means I had to put a diaper on. So I was wearing diapers for a few hours, even until we went to the hospital. And even though sometime I would have the urge to go to the bathroom, even when I would go, after I was done, you know, I was still leaking. And so, but thank the Lord, they took care of that problem, and it's still being taken care of. Got this this catheter in me, and I got an appointment to go to the hospital in a couple of days, because it'll be a week. Actually, it'll be 8 days. But they said, yeah, you're gonna have to keep that in for a week to make sure, you know, the urine constantly flows out of my body. And then now I'm being treated for a swollen prostate. I don't want to say it's enlarged, because most men's prostates will be enlarged, and that's when they start having those issues, and that's what lead them to going to the hospital. But my prostate was normal, and then through the radiation treatment, again, the side effect, it blew it up a little bit. It made it enlarge, but it swelled up. But anything just like on your body that swells up, with the proper care, medication, it'll go back. It's supposed to go back to its normal size according to the doc, which could take a week or two. And so I've been being treated with that for a week. They gave me some steroids, of course gave me some meds for pain, because I believe with the swelling, that's where I was getting all the heat, the pain, the discomfort of sitting down, and also some medication to help your urine flow, to make sure I get that good flow of urine coming back, especially once they pull this catheter out. And so here we are today, pretty much. Again, a few more days, it'll be week number 4. Still got my appointment to see the doc on the 6th of October, even though we just spoke when I was in the hospital, for him to prescribe me the medication and kind of tell me I fell within that 2 to 4% that receive radiation treatment and end up with a swollen prostate. And so it's definitely been an experience, and I'm just excited to look forward in, once it's all said and done, to get my blood checked, see what those PSA numbers are, and know that the cancer has been eradicated in Jesus' name. Well, that's my update for today. I hope this will help you in some shape, form, or fashion, especially if you are someone who have just been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and you're considering your options, whether to get your prostate removed or get the radiation treatment. I know they have 2 options for the radiation treatment, whether you do it like me, go at it for 5 days and be done with it, or you can get it done over a span of, I believe, 20 weeks or something like that. But this, again, has been my experience. I'm, again, 3.5 weeks post the radiation treatment. Again, other than what I just described, my mind is good. I'm doing good, except when I'm on the medications and I'm kind of out of it. But for the most part, yeah, it's all good. I'm all good. Thank the Lord Jesus. And so I look forward to getting through this and making another video and talking to you all again real soon. Again, I want to thank you for the love, the support, the prayers. It's been overwhelming. I appreciate you all. I love you all, and keep me in prayer. Pray for me, because I'll be praying for you. I appreciate you watching the video. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. And remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha.